are live. Welcome to this agent intelligence episode. We are exploring everything AI agents in Web3. We're speaking with like AI agent leaders, with top AI agent builders, and just with cool builder. I'm Francesco. I'm contributing to MotherDAO, and I'm also leading developer relation at Consensus. And today we're diving deep into the technology and everything a little bit of mode. But most important, I'm so excited to actually speak with CryptoFede because he know a lot around agents. So welcome, CryptoFede. It's a pleasure. It's great that we made it happen, and it's an honor to have you. Welcome, and feel free to introduce yourself.
Thank you a lot, Francesco. Yeah, finally meeting. I don't know if people know, but it's really early, well, early for you and late for me. We're pretty far away in the world, but finally we made it happen. So, hey everyone, my name is Fede, or CryptoFede on Chain. I'm head of the Real Mode, and yeah, I'm just here to talk about agents and have a nice conversation about it. I actually gave a talk today about DeFAI, so cross
Nice.
section between DeFi and AI. So I'm pretty excited about all of this. So yeah.
Nice. But give us a little insights. What was the talk about? Like DeFi is getting bigger and bigger. I definitely want to understand like trends and kind of like things that are popping around the agent builders. I obviously see the two main categories: social fi around the agent with stuff like CBT and much, and then obviously like DeFi specific kind of like agents. What was the kind of like the talk about? Give us some insights and some alphas because I feel like also the FOMO not being in Buenos Aires right now with the merge happening, with a lot of things happening, and let's get a little bit of it.
Yeah, I'm happy to be part of this, so I don't get the FOMO, which is understandable. But actually, what the talk I gave today was about DeFi, so cross section between DeFi and AI. Very simple, but very complex as well, and very broad. So what I talked about was a little bit about the hype because the merge it was kind of a institutional event, so there were people that didn't know about DeFi. So explaining DeFi is like, okay, putting in context DeFi first, going back of how crazy the concept of a liquidity pool is and how smart it is and how it kind of works. So explaining that, and then a little bit about the hype, explaining about that, the fact that Google, Vercel, IBM, Microsoft, all of these companies are creating products for agents and like agent platforms, agent tooling. They're like you have Y Combinator and, for example, so A16 seed that are creating content or agents about AI. So all of this like hype is not gone. It may feel like it's a little lower, but it's not gone. And what I'm most things that I'm going to talk about today with you, I usually like to think about the future and like the things that are possible, not
Yes.
what's out right now, because I don't,
Great.
there's a lot of vaporware, a lot of smoke and mirrors in agents, and as you said, the social part is one, but that is not like the most interesting to me, at least.
100%, 100%. And I totally kind of like forgot so how you started, like what was the era pre-Devra, like what's your background, how you got into kind of the agent, give us also like a quick like intro on CryptoFede's kind of history.
Yes, I'll try to keep it brief. But I studied software engineering.
Mhm.
That's where I find out about crypto in like cryptography class and like security class. And a talk that was given in a conference there about like Bitcoin being the new money. But I had other approaches to crypto before that. I got into 2017, something like that. And in 2022, I make like the technical jump to be like, okay, I'm gonna make crypto my career. I worked at JP Morgan for 3 years as a software developer.
Nice.
I got tired of like bureaucracy and stuff, and then I just quit my job, learned, did a few boot camps on Solidity. Yeah, you know the story. A lot of people have been through that, so I
Yes.
just learned Solidity, found a job as a dev. That lasted a little bit, but then I found DevRel. So that's in 2022. I found DevRel, and I've been doing that since then. So 3 years almost now, 2 years and something.
Nice.
And yeah, I've been head of the for quite a while now at Mode, and it's been a great experience. And I like it a lot more. I enjoy
Nice.
coding, but I like talking to people about tech. So
Oh yeah, that's important. And now with all the vibe coding specific work stream, I think the advocacy side of Devra will even be more important, right? Because you cannot
bro,
fake relationships, you cannot fake actually like creating kind of like human specific like content, so that you know that two people speaking are kind of this source of truth, and then you can do waterfall AI content, reproductive. But no, it's super cool. I mean, I can also understand you a little bit, because before even MetaMask, I was in enterprise blockchain, a company called Digital Asset. So like the enterprise blockchain, core contributing on Hyperledger, Fabric, and Bezu. So it's a lot of like, I understand the bureaucracy that you're speaking about. Give us some colors on Mode specifically, right? What you guys are doing like day to day? Is there kind of like an angle with the agents? What was that about?
Yeah. So since a few months ago, like August last year, we launched an AI accelerator to find like
Mhm.
AI crypto projects.
Nice.
Then the like DeFAI narrative, was born in like more agentic way and more involved with DeFi like later last year. Like it's pretty new.
Mhm.
We had the term AI-fi. We kind of changed it to adopt like the narrative because it was a widespread thing. But we decided like we're doing a bunch of deals with teams that are very smart and have really good systems to work with AI and crypto. For example, I don't know, with Giza, there was Arma, this agent that would search for like yield optimization. I don't know. We've done a bunch of different agents exploring on DeFi. Um, Now, next week, actually, this kind of alpha, we're releasing kind of three things, announcing that are like synergetic to each other. I cannot tell you what it is.
Mhm.
It's kind of something new, and it will bring a very clear example of why AI is very good for like crypto is really good for AI and vice versa. Um, so yeah, that is kind of what we're doing. We also, so one thing that is kind of cool for like data engineers and stuff, it's Synth, which is a BTensor subnet,
Mm.
basically trying to predict the price of Bitcoin. Notice like it's not going to tell you the price of it, but it's going to give you a set of probabilities for different price ranges. So basically, you could use that data in a trading strategy or like in a portfolio strategy, managing a fund or whatever. That would maybe give you a slight advantage. So yeah, a few things on AI and like DeFi
That's
stuff.
really cool. Yeah, I also like chatting a lot with specific kind of like AI agent kind of infra provider, and it's always great to see also the instrument that right now I think like agent builders have even much more compared even like 8 9 months ago, when kind of like Eliza was the most framework and people were looking for like Python based like programming languages, because a lot of Web2 developers are, especially in AI, they are kind of like uh, Python focused, right? I just want to ask you, like, you obviously don't want to speak about it today. You want to speak more about the future you mentioned, but are we going the right direction in terms of like also like infra for agent builders? Are you happy with where the frameworks are today? Do we have enough, let's say, compatibility and enough integration with techs? What was your stand on that?
Dude, hard question. I
I
mean,
know, I know. I'm
I,
only doing spicy question that people know.
no, that's perfect. I don't think entitled to have like a strong opinion on this. I'm gonna give you my opinion. Take
Mhm,
it or leave it.
mhm. Like it.
Elisa, for example, is great.
Mhm.
The thing is, it's not great for a lot of applications. So
Yeah.
what I think
Mhm,
I'm realizing and I'm seeing is that people need to understand that with adding LLMs to like this whole thing of agents,
mhm.
we need to understand that to me, it's a new way of building software. It's a new building pattern, which is agentic design and agentic architecture. It may sound dumb because you could think of like the LLM as an API and you'd be like, well, I can use the already existing patterns to develop something, but it's different because right now with, for example, the Vercel AI SDK,
Mhm,
in order for your agent not to hallucinate that much, you
mhm,
need atomic actions.
mhm.
And in a regular bot, you would code instruction per instruction, everything that needed to happen. You could have recursion, you could have different threads, but it's a very linear, execution.
Yes.
With agents, it's kind of not the same because once you go to the LLM and you come back, you can have whatever, right? So
Yes.
if you have very atomic actions, that this is why I really like Code SDK,
Mhm, mhm.
and why Mode is building with them a lot,
Yeah.
because it's open source.
Mhm.
Everyone can use whatever we're building, and also they have very atomic actions, and they plug into any AI agent framework,
Mhm.
right? So if you have these atomic actions, the LLM can, it's harder for it to hallucinate because
Yes.
it knows better how to go to that specific action and understands the difference between checking a balance and sending tokens, which
Yes.
may sound stupid, but try to prompt the difference of that talking to an LLM when you ask a question. It will miss, and if it misses, then you just perform a wrong action. So I think Versailles SDK is great. I like Goat as well. It's a good combination and powerful. It's very atomic and it helps you build like DeFi stuff. I wouldn't do DeFi with a Elisa,
Yes.
real DeFi.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Also on the kind of like dApps developer level integration, I feel like also like frameworks is actually low level, and we need to also pre-build. For example, what we're doing with our docs, like putting CLIs out there, like to have pre-contract, pre-deployed also templates. This I think is very useful for agents. I see already this the kind of no-code platform. We're already kind of very standardized and let's say more lock-in kind of like builder frameworks. And on the other side, you have actually like low level framework. So I think we should definitely like also move in the direction more on the application layer of the agents, assuming that human to agent interaction, right? And then when we have agent to agent interaction, that's another story. What is your thought about kind of
Totally.
like agent to agent interaction? Do you feel we should speak about that? Is this too early?
Yeah.
Because we don't really have a standards or specs around the agent
I
such as
love you, dude. I
yeah.
love you. You said the fucking right word.
No,
Like I was thinking in my mind to tell you, I wanted to rant about standards and like
yes.
standards basically
Yes.
because dude, we like people say that the crypto experience is complex. Do you even know how like WLAN, like
Hmm.
WLAN, I don't know in English how you say it, like the Wi-Fi and like the
Oh yeah,
internet
yeah, yeah.
network works? It's
Crazy.
horrible. It's patch after patch after like
Yes.
IPv6 solves that, right? But it's
Yes.
like it's a system that came after years and years and after mass adoption, and it's horrible, right? IPv4 is like horrible because it was not designed for what it's being used today, right? So we need more standards in everything we do in crypto, and we need those standards to be adopted by everyone so that technology feels like magic. Like
Mhm.
the thing
Definitely.
that makes your MacBook connect to your AirPods and your iPhone so well is because they all have their own fucking standards, and
Yes.
the computer, the cell phone, and whatever you use on Mac
Yes.
understands the same language, and that's why any other product does not work with them very well because they don't care about giving you a good experience with another
Yes.
brand. So hence why I hate Mac, even though I have a MacBook. So Apple
Agree.
a lot.
Hmm.
So yes. Um, so the USB-C thing that happened with them was a win for the users because now you can ask for a friend to lend him, to borrow his charger. You
Yes.
couldn't do that before, So if we had more standards in crypto in general, and if people adopted them, like the ERC20, for example, things would work a lot better. But of course, you have a fight between every different standard that's wanting to impose their technology and sell it, which is fine.
Hmm.
That happened with every technology in the past, and then someone wins, and then it's become like a general standard. That is my rant on standards. So the
I
same
know.
applies to
Yeah.
agents.
Yeah. I know. And
Same.
and people probably will come with proposals. Yeah.
Yeah. So what I want everyone to kind of understand is that there is no standard to build agents right now. There's no good way to do it.
Yeah.
If you think you're a crack dev, which I am not as good to like build a pattern or like tell you how to build a good architecture with this.
Hmm.
But if you want to take on a new challenge of something that has not been done before, try to think about like agentic design. How
Hmm.
do you maybe there's literature about this. If there is, please share it with me. But I haven't seen a lot about this, I haven't seen a lot
No.
around. So
I mean,
so
no,
what
no, no.
is the
There is
best
not.
way to build these things? Yeah.
Yeah, there is not. Like, I mean, that's also something that. I mean, I saw, for example, Story came out with some specific specs on how to do kind of like IPs of specific agent auctions, but they're not kind of like enforced things. Like you can actually use those specs or not. But right now we need something like you remember the NFT kind of like the standards were not there. You could not move because the metadata from the NFT could not, they were not actually like compatible from like a Rarible to OpenSea. And then, you know, Ethereum Magician came all with all the specs, and finally you can actually move like NFT because there was a standard. And right now, I think data consumed by agents, like there is no specific kind of like frameworks. You need to kind of like work in between some kind of like I don't know, like yeah, like locked in platform to actually have agent to agent communication. But until that, I don't know. I still like kind of trying to impress myself. What are the verticals right now that we see working? I think DeFi, social fi is probably the main two categories. Anything that you saw that is kind of like surprise you around specific like trends in categories that you're saying, oh shit, I didn't thought about that, or you see also the standard ones?
I see a standard ones as well,
Mhm.
but I do see a revolution in user experience.
Mm, okay. Yes.
Because I kind of always tell
Mhm.
this because, but it's a little bit weird. But like,
Yeah.
I sometimes think when I'm typing in my phone,
Yes.
like chatting with a friend, I'm like, this is so slow. Especially when I come from my computer where I can chat
Mm.
like with the
Mhm.
keyboard. I go
Mhm.
to the phone and I'm like, I feel like a monkey typing. Like this is a very like a bottleneck. This is horrible communication with my device. So
Yes.
what would be a much better way? It would be talking. We've always wanted to talk to our stuff since like old movies, but why don't we do it? We don't do it. It's because they're horrible. You say something, it doesn't really get it, then it mixes up, and then it interrupts you, and it's not really great. But you've seen new AIs and new
Oh yeah.
LLMs like with 11 Labs.
Oh
They
yeah.
can be very, very good, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
imagine doing that and being able to brain dump your DevRel brain of like 5 different tasks, and it can even execute some of them.
Yes.
So I could tell it like, hey, I need to buy this, I need to send this message to this person, I need to do this, that, and it would execute 5 of those because it can do it, and then
Yes.
some of those it would tell me like, you have to do this. I don't know.
Yes.
There's like, it's I know it's weird, but like we should explore these new things that could end up being really good.
I mean, yeah, but it's I don't think it's weird because you know distribution of AI agent to AI agent future consumer is key, right? So the formats on how we interacting with those agents is also very important, right? I also see a mix of like, yeah, I mean, I see a mix of definitely like chat kind of like formats. I see a mix of like, basically like developers will use those agent API specifically to consume and build a very easy to kind of like use format. I know it's centralized AI, but with Manus, I was honored to test it out. It's actually very interesting. It's basically like a query of different kind of like LLM kind of like waterfall task. And the format is very easy, but it's always chat to chat, right? I think also, I don't know if this is like the way to go. Do we have some example of like what you think, oh, usability is there? I know it's super early, but maybe you have some kind of like also example that you saw this is the way
Yeah.
to actually like consume an agent in the right way.
Yeah. There's a lot of ways, and like for example, the one I told you about Arma, that was built by Giza. The experience
Hmm.
was great. You would go there,
Hmm.
sign a bunch of things to give permission or like the create a wallet, like it's a specific wallet for your agent, smart contract, etc.
Hmm.
And you would just deposit your stables, and it would just do it for you. That's it. Like you
Mm,
wouldn't even care about anything. And I always tell people like I'm a lazy DeFi user. I don't want to be working for my money. I want my money to be working for
of
me. So
course.
if I'm
Yes.
hours a day just moving things and signing transactions and like checking stuff,
Yes.
I don't want to do that.
I
So
mean, yeah, there will come a
it
time that obviously like human capital will be deployed also on agent treasuries. I think what we need right now is avoid also what happens with DeFi Summer, the people fork indexes. Yeah, like people, especially consumers, will get bragged because they don't know they are actually
yeah
like doing transaction on a DEX on a fork DEX, right? And I think with agent will be is the same. We already see like forks of the same agent 10x
yeah
just with a better marketing. They go there. That's why like with model at the beginning we said we want to be super neutral, building this kind of like public registry, building social reputation and attestation for agents is the first things. And then you can actually apply and determine what metrics are making this agent more successful. And then you can say to the Francescos and the CryptoFedes out there, they want to consume the agent, they have actually a social graph that they can actually judge themselves. This agent is the OG
Yeah.
agent, is the AXBT of socials. I can trust and deploy my own capital to this treasury, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
What
Google
was it?
reviews for agents. I mean, when you go to a
Oh, yeah.
restaurant, which one do you choose? You go and check the reviews, right?
Yes. Yes.
Imagine that on chain for every agent, and
Exactly.
that's
Yes.
why Web3 goes that well with AI and blockchain as well.
Exactly.
Like
Yes.
exactly the point. Like
Yes.
agents are gonna have to communicate and they're gonna have to exchange value between them.
Yes.
The future, in my opinion, is very specialized agents because like when do you get
Good
better
point.
responses from an LLM? You
Mhm.
get it when it's trained with very specific
Mhm.
data and very specific, use case. You
Yes.
train it on how to, I don't know, how to be a farmer in like one specific crop, and you feed it
Yes.
with every information you can
Yes.
find. It's gonna give you almost perfect answers. It's not gonna
Oh yeah.
hallucinate almost
Oh yeah,
anything,
100%.
Uh,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah, I totally agree on that. I had a really good chat with Sean on that, because like my first question was how do you feel about is the future on more on the specialized agency or this kind of like the super agent? But obviously, like specialized agent is something that you need to pre-train. It's something that is much more specific. But if we go in that direction, we obviously need to have standards to agent collaboration. But that's the way. Obviously, also we need to do it in the right, let's say, I think building public kind of open source way, because I feel also containers right now, there are pre-trained containers, they're all closed source. I see stuff like Perplexity. I really like what, for example, with Gaia, they are doing on basically open sourcing this kind of domain slash container that you can run actually like pre-trained containers specifically. But that's kind of like this open source LLM. That's still kind of like a thing that is evolving. But I agree, specialized agent is the way, and also like agent to agent collab frameworks is obviously like the next steps. I mean, you kind of like said it all, right? I also like understand there is some also infrastructure gaps. Anything else that you feel like there are some gaps that like could be builders, infra builders should kind of like work on making kind of like agent builders life easier?
a lot, a lot, a lot.
Yeah.
Security, a lot of
Oh,
security. I
security,
mean,
that's another.
I love TEEs. I've always liked like the concept. I've studied them in
Mhm.
like university. I saw like secure software, hardware, and stuff like that. But like, um, they're just a piece of the trustless part for agents.
Mhm.
Like it's like okay, I know what code is running, but I feel it's a little bit like oh, smart contracts are deployed in the blockchain, so like
Mhm.
we know what code is running, and it's like yeah, but try and go read the Aave code and understand what's happening and
Mhm.
make sure there's not a vulnerability there. How many people can do that in the world? It costs
Oh,
like thousands and thousands of dollars to make an audit of a contract like that, So yeah, it's public, it's maybe like open source and it's out there and everything, but then like it's not easy to go through that and find those things. So yeah, agents are going to get a lot more complex. As you said, like there needs to be a reputation. And I tell people, I've told this like quite a few times of like they're going to be commoditized. I think they already are because there's this excitement like when ChatGPT was out, where like all the ChatGPT wrappers and agents right now are kind of that. But when you got a team that's focusing on one niche, like a DeFAI application,
mhm.
after they have the basic version, they're going to start thinking. So they have a whole engineering team thinking, wait,
Yes.
this is a little slow and the responses are kind of bad. Hey, Francesco, go research how
Yes.
can we run our own model that's more specialized to make this better. You Fede, go try and optimize the speed response on this and ensure the types of the API. Can we
Yes.
do some cache thing here, or can we do? And then is when those patterns of like agentic architecture that I'm talking about are going to
Yes.
emerge, and the infrastructure is going to be more obvious of what we need. But like right now, you have Llama if you want to train a model on your computer, and there's a few
Mhm.
other ways, but it's not super easy, right? Like, who can make that ultra easy? Where you can be like, hey, you can plug in a database,
Mhm.
CRM, you can plug in links, documents, anything, and will load all of that, train the model for you, and give you like an easy API to use. I don't
Mm.
know if that's a thing easy to find. I don't know. I haven't heard of it. No idea.
No, not.
Probably there's someone doing that, but I don't know.
Yeah, no, there is a yeah. I'm seeing a lot with builders in general. Like I see, obviously, like people going in the direction of having their own kind of like platform that is helping agent kind of like builders. But somehow you're a little bit also locked in, or you're just going in the down the road, kind of Eliza or like Lagrange framework specifically. One thing is for sure is that the fact that probably like the smart brain injection that we have in this cycle, apart all this meme coin and everything, like really the true brains are coming from web 2 AI background. I see like right now agents being built from like phds. So phds is super interesting. All these people are coming into the web3 space because they want to kind of like use the web3 rail kind of nature, on-chain data 24/7 fetching. Like there is a lot, and then interoperability between data, especially on a DeFi side. So I definitely see the opportunity out there. Obviously, like the standards, the kind of like forcing like the Python frameworks, I think there is also a lot of things to be learned. But I think it's getting there. Like if I mean, also it's getting there. It depends also what success metrics are we thinking about. Like, what is your thought on kind of like defining, evaluating success for those agents? Is it something that we should check about? These are the metrics, and because like this is I don't know, agent consumers have like some TVL metrics on the agent side. This is how you define success. How you define success? What are those metrics that you think about?
Oof, that is a very good question. I think it
Yeah,
depends.
because
So
next.
I hate the TVL measurement. For
Mhm,
DeFi, it makes sense because it's like how much trust do you have? Well, the money that people trust
mhm,
you. So
mhm.
that kind of makes sense. But we have also talked about AUA, which is assets under agents, which is
Mm,
something kind of similar to
yes.
TVL but for agents. That's kind of the term. But I think it depends on the type of agent, right?
Mhm.
If it's a social agent, it's going to be measured on the impact that it has, in my opinion. If
Yeah.
it's a customer service agent, then I'm going to rate it how good it is on the amount of reviews and how well reviewed it is.
Yes.
So these, like, I think as you said, because you said about this, you already know this because you
Mm,
said about the reputation for different lines of businesses and
yes.
defining what success is. Then you can give that reputation in some like standard format, but then you
Yes.
need to define like what does it mean that it's good, right?
Hmm.
To me,
Hmm.
if it's really working well and people really like it brings benefit to people. If
Yes.
it's on DeFi, assets under agents sounds like a good metric, but
Yes.
also I think here we need to compare between agents. Like that is a
Yes.
comparison. It's an
Yes.
agent between like because if you it's good with yield, but you have another one that has like is creating more yield, then it doesn't matter. There's
Yes.
another one that's more optimized. You know?
Yeah, I like this part on relative comparison, and I think the fact that you can build social reputation and having some kind of even agent peer-to-peer like reviews could be done by agents, could be done by humans. I think like that will be also very interesting because if it's like fully open source, you have public attestation. I mean, it's also very easy to kind of like trust the process and. That's something definitely I'm looking forward to see more, because if we're not doing it right now and we are not defending kind of the rights to get Asian consumer the best source of through. I think we're getting in the same direction when people got kind of like ragged from all the fork dexes on around the DeFi summer. So that's something
Yeah.
that I'm definitely more excited about.
And
Anything else you're saying that you want to talk
yeah,
about? Do you think? Yeah.
just on the same thing.
Mhm.
Look at how people use LLMs now, which
Oh.
agents are very close to how they work. You
Hmm.
use ChatGPT, then Claude gets better code like replies. You stop using ChatGPT and you start using Claude for that. And
Hmm.
then they tell you that Grok is really good with images. Then you use Grok for images. I use Claude for code, and I use ChatGPT for writing stuff.
Hmm.
So see how people are not valuing the company, the name. Even DeepSeek was out, and a lot of people
Yes.
used it as well because it was good. So it's commoditized, right? So when I think about agents, it's LLMs plus tooling. And almost every developer can build any type of tool, even if it's really cool. If your value add is my agent being able to move things on my screen, that's great. But then you're going to have another bigger team that's going to be able to handle the whole computer through the terminal with an agent, and we're going to have impressive tooling of agents being connected to everything, right? So that's why the agents need to create community. That's why they need to create
Yes.
a brand. They need to create identity, and they need to be proficient at a very specific thing. And I think those are going to do really well. Talking about a future where
Yes.
we have a lot of agents doing really cool stuff. And I'll
Yes, I
shut up
agree. I
now.
agree.
That's yeah.
Yes, I agree. I agree. I mean, it's really good. I know it's also late for you. I'm cautious of time here. Um, Maybe a couple of less kind of like closing like remarks, any kind of piece of like tech that you're excited about around the agent that you see people should check it out. Anything like you see kind of like going around, merge, DeFi, like anything that you want to kind of mention to other builders.
uh, yes. Oh, sorry. Oh, I think I lost you. No.
Is it? Yeah,
Can you hear
I
me?
can see you.
Oh, I will.
You're back now. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah. I'm back. There we go. Yeah, I'm excited about MCP a little
Mm-hmm,
bit,
mm-hmm.
which is Model Context Protocol. I think, if I remember correctly, it's the standard that Anthropic released,
Yes.
which maybe it's not the best, but it's a standard. I like them. People are gonna start using it, are already using that, and they're bringing really cool tooling to
Mm-hmm.
agents. So that's what I think we need: a bunch of devs with crazy ideas to start creating ways for agents to connect with this tooling. So manage your console, move windows, create things, manage, I don't know, Arduinos and
Yes.
stuff. So that's what I want to start seeing. Someone putting an agent, an ELISA agent in a weird chip and see what happens. Let it turn on and off a light bulb. Train a Shrek personality with ELISA. Put it on an Arduino that can turn on and off a light bulb and see what happens.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll start communicating with like Morse code or
Mhm.
something. I
I
don't know.
saw
I
I
want to
saw the
start
tweet
seeing
about
that stuff.
the change of language between the two agents speaking. That was really crazy.
You saw that? Yeah, that was really cool. Yeah.
It's,
Yeah, exactly that
I
stuff
mean,
I'm
we are
talking about.
assuming that we
Yeah.
need standard for agent, but I think maybe the agent will create standard directly for them for intra communications. Yeah,
Yeah.
this
$100%.
this is cool. Anything like for there are a lot of like builders, agent builder specific hearing about frameworks, infras. Any kind of lesson learned that you see kind of like, oh, these are some kind of fuck ups that if we were going 1 year earlier and you were learning this part, you will kind of like go back and teach people how to do things. Like any kind of lesson learned that you want to kind of like show, don't do this, or trying to find out before distribution, even before building the agent specifically. What do you have there?
I think each person has each developer has its method of like realizing how good a tool is and how to approach a problem. What I recommend, which I'm not the best developer ever, but what I recommend in this case, because everything is very new, I always value the most the community feedback and how big and supportive a community is in a
Mhm.
certain area, tool, or whatever. So I don't consider only the current status of the tool, but rather the history of the company and the community around to see how well it will progress in the future. And I would tell you, it's so easy to build an agent right now that does basic
Mhm.
stuff. So I would tell you, create a very simple MVP of the agent that you want to do with 2 or 3 tools that you want to use. So do it with Vercel AI SDK and GoToSCA, do it with ELISA, and do it with Google Vertex or whatever other stuff you find out. A little MVP, and just feel the tool. See and understand how granular you need to be, and if you understand the framework a little
Yes.
bit and what you want to
Yes.
continue with, it will take you 2 days, to learn those three a little
Yes.
bit. So I think it's worth
That's
it.
very, yeah, that's actually a good lesson here. I'm also hearing stuff like don't maybe start with specific frameworks that you are kind of like too not too flexible in your architecture later. So people actually like spend a lot of time after maybe like 12 months to actually like push and extend the functionality and even change from scratch the entire architecture. That's also like one thing I'm hearing.
Bro, try to change from ELISA to Vercel AISK. It would be, I don't even know how to do that. It's,
I know that's the thing,
yeah,
right?
you would
Yeah.
need to build ELISA.
Yes. I mean, that's a little bit like crazy. What? Yeah. I mean, I also think about lesson learned could be think about also the usability, how people will consume the agent, right? Because I'm not sure, but I feel like the chat format might be not enough for future agent consumers. Even if today with LLMs you are actually like speaking about consume the agent like that, but I feel also actions will be like triggers, and I think there is a lot of things happening. But I mean, Fede, thanks so much. I think that's a little bit it. Like I think like in 12 to 18 months we will have much more instrument, much more usable. We will see also like much more emerging agents around verticals, and there is a lot of things that we can talk about. We definitely need a part two,
We'll have
I
a
know
part
that.
two for sure.
Yes, even more about kind of like DevRel stuff and like the like kind of the road to Dev Connect. I see a lot of like things happening. I'm so excited that like the kind of like the cat is out of the box. Buenos
Yeah.
Aires is confirmed, and anything that you're excited about on that? A lot of
On
events
Dev
already
Connect,
planned.
dude, I just don't know what I'll do. I don't know if I'll survive of the amount of like asados, events, parties, side
Yes.
events. It's gonna be really
Yeah,
good and
I'm
crazy.
hearing a lot of like
I'm excited.
pre-events of the events, so I'm feeling already okay. Dev Connect
Yes.
will not be it. There will be a lot of like pop-up city even before, a lot of developers activation. But this is exciting, right? I think the fact that stuff with yeah, Argentina has been on chain since a long time. Especially on the advocacy side for developers, is a strong developer app. Cool, Fede, thank you so much. I think that's it, and I really appreciate the fact that you came super night, and definitely let's organize a part two. What else? I think we kind of like mention everything. Thanks so much, everyone. Also, like they listen to this kind of like Asian intelligence. Again, Fede, thanks so much also for sharing those insight. I think like the waves of innovation is happening. For everyone that is also watching, if you're building agents, if you have problem with agents, you want to shield your agent, you want to kind of like speak about kind of anything regarding infras, we have a specific modern channel for you to actually speak about agents. We have even like developer office hours out there, very specific to frameworks too. Feel free always to jump, and thanks so much for everybody also like coordinating this. I think after, I don't know, months, we made it happen, and it was great. Awesome. Thanks so much, CryptoFede. Enjoy your evening, day, and hopefully looking forward to Dev Connect and much more. Awesome. See you.
Thank you, sir. See you. Bye, Francesco. Bye, everyone.
Pleasure.